Hey guys, this is Sergeant Phoenix back in the action, and today we are on a how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! This one's a little different though. This technically is Yu-Gi-Oh! But this is something that's been invented, it was invented a while ago, speed dueling. A lot of my friends have asked about speed dueling, they've seen speed dueling, they've never known what it's about. You know, but that's only some of them who have started. One of my friends asked me about it. I had a look at it, and I got these a week ago as a gift. And honestly, the best way to describe speed dueling, if you've got the app Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, you know what it is already. If you don't, then this is a good way to know about it. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed duels are practically the same game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But they limit them. But it's limited down. So as you see, there's no rule on the extra monster zones. So, you know, if you play a link format, you just put your links there if you want to or not. There's no rule in saying about links. Because to be fair, they haven't really updated it to that yet. Otherwise, there would be like extra monster zones here. And the one thing is, instead of 5 monster zones and 5 spell and trap zones, they've only got 3. So and on the app, if you play Duel Links, you know they limit down to 3. And you have your field zone, your extra deck zone, your graveyards, and your deck zones. And the other thing is, it's the life points and the decks that also have been limited. Because in a normal duel, you get 8,000 life points and your deck has to be 40 to 60 cards. In speed duels, you have 4,000 life points and you have a deck of and it's cut in half practically, your deck. So you have 20, so you can only have 20 to 30 cards in your deck. For some people this helps, but what makes speed duels, and I have the decks here that I got that was given with the pack. What makes speed duels a bit more interesting is that you gain skills playing on a character on one of these. You can have any skill you want. So if I open one of these, and I've opened one before, you'll see these blue ones are your skills. You place them face down anywhere you want on the field. You can have it here, it's up to you. I'd just put it there. You play it face down though, so you don't see it, but it will also tell you, like, at the start of the duel, place this card in your field spell zone and flip it over. Reason it is because of this one, Peak Performance. And this practically plays as a field spell. All Dragon, Wing Beast, and Thunder monsters on the field gain 200 attack and defense. So it practically, speed duels, they add like in the Vrain season. If you've seen the Vrain season, you know what I'm talking about when they do the speed duels. But except the difference is they don't have any extra monster zones, as I've said quite a few times already. But I also wanted to do the deck profiles on these as well, just to see what I got. So you can do fusions, Xyzs and synchros, you know, if you're able to, but we only know about fusions. They've not made anything for these. But what makes these decks interesting is that you'll notice when you have a look, if I can get it to shine on the camera, see, if you can see it, it has speed duel on it, if you can see it. And the reason it has that is to show that it's a speed duel card. Because you can't use your own cards in one of these unless you and your opponent agree on it. But officially you cannot use your own cards. You have to use speed duel cards, which I do understand actually. So, because your opponent could build it with their own decks, a really powerful deck, and could wipe out their opponent in one turn like that. So I'm going to do the deck profile of these. I'm going to do skills, then monster spells and traps. So the first one we already had, as I showed, the Peak Performance. All Dragon, Wing Beast and Thunder monsters on the field gain 200 attack and defense. Next we have Beatdown. If you control a level 5 or higher monster, you can activate this skill. All monsters you can currently control gain 300 attack for each level 5 or higher monster you control. At the end of your turn, flip this card over. Some skills you can use constantly, some you can't though, depending on... Some skills you have to have certain reasons to do it. Dragon Caller, this is one. Once per duel, you can use one of the following skills. If you successfully normal summon Lord of Dragons, add one flute of summoning dragons from your deck to or graveyard to your hand. The second one is, reveal the fleet of summoning dragons from your hand, then add one Lord of Dragons from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So it could help. And these skills could, but you could only use one skill card. And this is it. The first one, Blue Eyes White Dragon. And if you don't know what this card is, I'd watch the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! On Netflix. It's all the seasons are 1 to 5 are on it, of the original seasons. Next we have Battle Ox. And none of these have any abilities, because they're all normals. Blue Eyes is the most powerful normal monster out there. So we have Blue Eyes, 2 Battle Oxes, 2 Ryu Kashin powered, a Luster Dragon, Lord of Dragons, this is an effect. Neither player can target dragon monster on the field with card effects. Good to have 2. Twin-headed Behemoth. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field and sent this turn, you can special summon this card, but its attack and defense become 1000. You can only use the effect of Twin-headed Behemoth once per turn. Next we have Tyrant Dragon. During your battle phase, if your opponent controls a monster after this card's first attack, this card can make a second attack, negate the trap effects that target this card on the field, and if you do, destroy that trap. This card cannot be special summoned from your graveyard unless you tribute one dragon monster. Next we have Spirit Ryu. And this card, during your battle step, if this card battles quick effect, you can discard one dragon monster to your graveyard. This card gains attack 1000 attack or defense until the end of the battle phase. Right, next we have Kyberman. And this is from the GX. You can tribute this card and special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. And as you know, Fleet of Summoning Dragons, special summon up to 2 dragon monsters from your hand. Lord of Dragons must be on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. Stamping Destruction. If you control a dragon monster, target one spell or trap card on the field, destroy that target, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to its controller. Cost down, and this card's a basic. You discard one card for the rest of the turn, and reduce the levels of all monsters in your hand by 2. So you could only need to sacrifice one monster to summon it. Summon a Blue Eyes. Next we have Burst Stream of Destruction. If you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Blue Eyes White Dragon you control cannot attack the turn this activates. And we like to call these ones attack spells, some people like to call them. Because it has the monster that you need and it just uses an effect that destroys them. Like for Dark Magician is Dark Magic Attack, and for Dark Magician it's Dark Burning Magic. And next we have Mountain, and it's just like the skills. All Dragon, Winged Beast and Thunder monsters on the field will gain 200 attack and defense. And our only things are the traps. And the traps are Interdimensional Matter Transporter. Target one face-up monster you control, banish that target until the end phase. Dragon's Rebirth. Target one dragon monster you control, banish that target, and if you do, special summon the one dragon monster from your hand or graveyard. And the last one, Trap Jammer. You can, when your opponent activates a trap card during the battle phase, negate the activation if you do destroy it. And that's like Spell Jammer. And that's Kaiba's deck. So as you can see, it's mostly built on dragon summoning, which Kaiba's deck was pretty much built on in the first place. I think that's what, but Kaiba is known though for his blue eyes. It's what made his deck one of the most famous decks in history. And it's still and people I know still like using a blue eyes deck. But most people I know like using your OP cards. Sometimes Phantasms, which I have myself. I have them, but I don't really use them. Next, I'm going to do My Valentine's. She's one of my favourite characters. Me and my friends actually got talking about female duelists, how come they don't get a lot of spotlight like all the main protagonist male duelists do. And I got thinking, what about the next season if there's a new format, a new season of Yu-Gi-Oh? What if they actually had a main female protagonist with with Y as the first letter in the name? We've had Yuma, Yusei, Jaden's the only one who I know who doesn't have a flipping U in his name for some reason. Yuma, Yusaku, Playmaker. Yusaku, Yuya? Was it Yuya? Yeah. What? I'm just saying, I think actually having a female main character I think it'd actually be good. If they gave her a Yusei kind of character and added a bit of My Valentine's onto it, I think you got something. They could have it like a Warzone, like machines have conquered. And this is an idea I asked friends if it was actually good. What if it was like the end of the world and machines conquered everything? And it was all like a dual format system that was created for better dueling. But then the machines started having plans and started attacking the Earth, with them pretty much winning. And there's small pockets of rebellion everywhere, with our main character being one of them. She was a test subject for cybernetic experiments they were doing. But it was a kind of fail. They escaped. It gave her increase of dueling skills, knowledge at transmitting, access to computer systems, and she has a green eye that glows. And one of them, and the other one could be a blue eye. It's just a thought. Anyway, back to this. And this is My Valentine's deck, Aroma Strategy. You may look at the top card of your deck at any time. Flight of the Harpies. If you lose 1800 or more life points, you can activate one of this skill during your next draw phase. During your draw phase, you can search your deck for one Harpy card, reveal it to your opponent, and add it to your hand instead of drawing. And if you do, flip this card over. Tribal Synergy. If you have an Amazoness monster and a Harpy monster in your hand, reveal them and draw one card. If you control an Amazoness monster and a Harpy monster, draw two cards. Each of these skills can all be used once per duel. So you can use both of them, but you can only use them once. Next we have the Harpy Ladies. Harpy Ladies 1, Harpy Ladies 2 and Harpy Ladies 3. And they almost have the same effect. They all get treated as Harpy Ladies, so there's no... Just 1, 2 and 3 just for like colour, just for like fun. The first one's effect. All wind monsters gain 300 attack. Second one's effect. Negate the effects of flip monsters this card destroys in battle. And the third one's effect. An opponent's monster that battles this card cannot declare an attack during your opponent's next 2 turns. Next we have Harpy Lady Sisters, which is all 3 of them put into one. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from with Egotist. And Harpy Ladies are like my main thing about a deck. And then she added Amazonesses. First one, Amazonas Chainmaster. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can pay 1,500 life points, look at your opponent's hand, and add one monster from their hand to your hand. Mai used this against the evil Marek, and she actually got the Winged Dragon of Ra from him. And I do believe it was from that card. But the only problem was, Ra, in the anime world, Ra had a certain reason to be summoned. You had to do a chantment to summon him. If you couldn't, but if your opponent knew the chant and they said it, they'd be able to control Ra. And she was close technically. If she didn't, if in the official dueling rules, Mai would have won the duel because of what happened. So Merrick is pretty much a crap duelist. He always has a certain way of cheating his way out of a duel. Even when he went up against Joey. When they added that shadow game rule, and he shouldn't have been standing, he was still standing. If that shadow game rule was never added, Joey had a monster that someone managed to summon a monster with high enough attack points to wipe out Merrick. All he had to do was attack with that monster. Merrick would have lost the duel and his Egyptian god card to Joey. So that was, but that was quite annoying that happened. Anyway, back to Amazonas Swordswoman, and your opponent takes any battles you would have taken from battles involving this card. So my opponent uses Blue Eyes White Dragon against this thing. He'll take 1,500 points of damage instead of me. Next we have Amazonas Sage. At the end of damage step, if this card attacked and is still on the field, target one spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Next we have Birdface. We have two of them actually. Interesting. Put one of them back. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Harpy Lady from your deck to your hand. You can add one Harpy Lady from your deck to your hand, sorry, not summon. Next we have Sonic Shooter. If there are no cards in your opponent's spell trap card zone, this card can attack your opponent directly. If it does, the battle damage inflicted to your opponent is the original attack of this card. And here we go, we have the Eagless Egotist, which is used if Harpy Lady is on the field, special summon Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters from your hand or deck. Next we have Triangle Egotist Spark. Until the end of this turn, the attack of all Harpy Lady Sisters currently on the field becomes 2,700. Your opponent cannot activate any spell trap cards. Also negate all your opponent's trap effects on the field. Next we have Cyber Shield, which equips to a Harpy Lady or a Harpy Lady Sisters. It'll gain 500 more attack. Harpy's Hunting Ground, a field spell. All wing beat monsters gain 200 attack and event. If any Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters is normal or special summon, the player who conducted the summon target one spell trap card on the field. That player destroys that target. Next we have Amazonas Heirloom, and this card's effect. Equip only to an Amazonas monster. Once per turn, that monster cannot be destroyed by battle. After damage calculation, if the equipped monster attacks a monster, destroy the attacked monster. And all we have is a few of these left. So the first one, Amazonas Archers. When an opponent's monster declares an attack while you control an Amazonas monster, change all monsters your opponent controls to a face-up attack position. Flip effects are not activated. They also lose 500 attack. Also, they must attack this turn if able to. So if your opponent relied on flips and they were all weak attack monsters, they're pretty much screwed if you use a powerful enough Amazon. Next we have Windstorm of Etika. I can't pronounce it. Change the battle positions of all the face-up monsters your opponent controls. Wild Tornado. Target one face-up card in the spell trap card zone, destroy that face-up card, then its controller can set one spell trap card from their hand. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target one face-up card on the field, destroy that target. Next we have Shadow of Eyes. When a monster or monsters is set on your opponent's field, target one of those set monsters, change that set monster to face up attack position, flip effects are not activated. So Maya's deck is quite alright. Her deck in battle, these are mostly like Battle City kind of decks. They're mostly, Maya's focused on the Amazons and the Harpies, which, as you can see, Harpies being all winged lady girls, and Amazons being an all-female warrior rare culture, which, her deck kind of demonstrates the phrase girl power. But in certain guidelines, you have to say group, not if you're like boys, if you're like in a group of male and female group together. Some official guidelines, like places, they do say group, not manpower, if you want to say manpower or girl power, because nowadays, that either saying manpower or girl power, they consider it to be like a sexist comment. Which I find to be, it existed before. The phrase existed before most people got annoyed with how things were going around. This one has and this is Joey's deck. I just had a quick look. This has an extra deck, which shouldn't surprise me, considering that Joey did use extra decks. Joey's deck mostly relies on luck and chance, and that is Joey for you. He's always gotten lucky. He's always won by accident whenever he's won something. My opinion, he's won by accident. I'm not saying he's not a good duelist. He's quite a good duelist. I just honestly think, he's not exactly my favourite kind of duelist. He's a good character, just not my favourite kind of duelist. Kaiba's one of my favourite of duelists, but he's not exactly a favourite of a character based on the way he acts and is personalised. Just being self-centred all the time. But I do like when he cares about his brother, because to him, family's everything. Mocha was the only family he had other than the stepfather, Gozabora. Anyway, first we'll do the skill. Grit. At the start of your turn, call 2 numbers and roll a 6-sided die. If you roll a number you called, your life points do not get lower than 1 until the end of your opponent's next turn. The skill can only be used once per duel. Last gamble, and you'll see what I mean by a gambling deck. At the start of the 5th turn, activate the skill. Count both players' turns. During your main phase, you can reduce your life points to 100 and discard 2 cards from your hand. Roll a 6-sided die and draw cards equal to the result. And this skill can only be used once per duel. And you'll see what I mean by gamble. Honestly, that's what I mean by gambling. And Palomization. And during your turn, you may reveal 1 normal monster in your hand. This turn, that monster can substitute for any 1 fusion material. If you do, the other fusion materials must be correct ones. The skill can only be used once per duel. And now we're up to the monsters. Red Eyes Black Dragon. And in the history rules, if you know the history of dueling, Red Eyes is said to have powers that almost rival Blue Eyes White Dragon. Baffles me why, because it's freaking weak. One of the weakest dragons I've ever seen. I like the design of it. The design of Red Eyes is amazing. But when it comes to aspects, it's not exactly the great one. Meteor Dragon. And if anyone watches Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0, or Yu-Gi-Oh! 0 as it's called, these two are actually seen together. Because they create a fusion monster with these two. Which is actually honestly really great when Yu-Gi uses it. Joey doesn't have the card, somebody else, a kid does. And Kaiba challenges someone to a duel. Kaiba summons Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and equips it with something, I think. And then Yugi summons Red Eyes and then Meteor Dragon. Puts them together to make this really all-powerful dragon that wipes out Blue Eyes Ultimate easily. But for my Yu-Gi-Oh! Zero fans out there, and I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh! Zero fan, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, so... I like, even give a like or comment down if you agree with me, if you recognise those, if you do recognise what I'm talking about. Next we have Flame Manipulator, which is a normal. Masquerade the Legendary Swordsman, normal. Alligator Sword, normal. Baby Dragon, normal. Time Wizard, not a normal effect. Once per turn, you can toss a coin and call it. If you call it right, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. If you call it wrong, destroy as many monsters you control as possible. And if you do, take damage equal to half of the total of attacks those that destroy monsters had while face upon the field. So you could lose a lot of life points if you have a field full of powerful monsters and your opponent's got powerful monsters as well. Next we have Little Wingard. Once per turn during your end phase, you can change the battle position of this card. Next we have Copycat. If this card is summoned, target one face-up monster your opponent controls. This card's attack and defense becomes equal to that monster's original attack and defense. Next we have Gear 3, the Iron Knight, which is the one that Joey would have been able to beat Merrick with. As I mentioned, when Joey got attacked by Ra's ability when they played the Shadow game rules, and it inflicts real damage on you, Ra's a lot more powerful. Joey should have been wiped out from the attack. He was still standing, and Merrick had 1,800 life points left. When Joey summoned this, when he drew it, he was able to win, but he then went unconscious. So by law, like I said, by dual standards, Merrick would have lost against Mai. He would have lost against Joey, which makes him a pathetic duelist. The only time he was able to win proper was when he went up against... The only time he probably would have been able to win properly, most likely, was with Yugi, most likely. Because there was a weakness to when he was in the Shadow game rules when Merrick fused together with Ra, which he's able to do by doing his point-to-point transfer effect. Merrick may have the powers of Ra by fusing with the monster, but then Merrick has the weaknesses of Ra being a card monster. If they destroyed Ra while Merrick's fused with it, he's practically weak. He's practically going to kill himself. So that is a gamble, pretty much, to not do. Because when he fuses only his eye, it's his left eye, that's all that's left of when the rest of his body fuses together. So you see a floating left eyeball, piece of an eye just right there. And he's on top of Ra, and he's literally on Ra's head just chilling. It's quite... that's when they first did the whole fusion with your monster thing. And Gilfried, though, was the one who would have ended Merrick in the Battle City semi-finals, but Mai would have beat him already. Next we have 2 polymerizations, and this card fusions with monsters you need. I'm not explaining what polymerization does, you should know what it does if you're a duelist. Next we have Stray Lambs. Special summon 2 lamb tokens, Beast, Earth, level 1, attack and defense being 0 in defense position. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card, but you can set. Next we have a Legendary Sword. This will let your monster gain 300 attack and defense. Sorgan, all warrior and beast warrior monsters on the field gain 200 attack and defense. Next we have Dice Foon. Roll a 6-sided die and apply the effect. Apply the result. 2, 3, and 4. Destroy 1 spell trap card on the field. 5. Destroy 2 spell trap cards on the field. 1. You take 1 to 6. You take 1,000 points of damage. So even a 6 in that rolling is bad. Next we have the dice team. Graceful dice. You roll a 6-sided die, and your monster will get. All monsters you control will gain 100 attack equal to the result. So if I roll a 6, my monsters will gain 600. And the trap, skull dice, works the same way as is the reverse of graceful dice. Instead of gaining attacks, the monsters this will affect your opponent's monsters and make them lose attacks. So if I roll a 6-sided die and it's a 6 when using this card, my opponent's monsters will lose 600 attack points because I rolled a 6 for this card. Next we have Kunai with Chain. You can activate either 1 or 2 of these effects simultaneously. And the first effect can be, when your opponent monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, change that target to defense position. The second one is target 1 person monster you control, the equip monster, and equip this card to it, it'll gain 500 attack. And you can use both effects. Next we have Red Eye Spirit, target 1 Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So that's basic. Next we have one of his signatures, Flame Swordsman. He used it as a normal monster, which was weird but that was Duelist Kingdom. The rules in that game did not make a lot of sense. It was all scientific based. Like if Joey was using this against using this monster against dragons, he could win pretty much all the time because in the Duel Kingdom rules, fire is super effective against dinosaur types, which kind of makes sense since they became extinct from a volcano or a meteor shower. Or a meteor that hit not a meteor shower, sorry, a meteor that hit the Earth. And this requires Flame Manipulator and Matty the Legendary Swordsman. Next we have Thousand Dragon. And this needs Time Wizard and Baby Dragon. It doesn't have an effect. This is the only one of the 3 that have the effect. This one doesn't either. You can class these as normal monsters if they were normal monsters. Next, so Alligator Sword Dragon. This requires Baby Dragon Alligator Sword. This card can attack your opponent directly if the only face-up monster you control are Earth, Water, or Fire monsters. Then it can attack. So technically, if one of the attributes if the only monsters you control attributes are Earth, Water, or Fire, this card can attack your opponent directly. So you just have to be so you just got to make sure you use that card correctly. Anyway, so that's it. That's all 3 decks. That's how speed duels work. The skills can be used whenever you can or able to use them. You use 3 slots. You have 4,000 life points. You have 20 or 30 cards in your deck. Your extra deck goes here. Your fields there. Graveyards there. But honestly, I would rate these the first out of these 3. I think Mai's my favourite, Kyber being my second, and Joey being my third. And I've already explained why. Mine gives a definition, actually gives a definition on how tough girls can be in dueling. And it's, and I have friends I have some friends who are girls and they do dueling. I've taught them dueling, and they've beaten a lot of people and they've taken on a lot of duelists I know who are really tough, and they've either gone to, and they've pretty much beat them. Me being a good that's me being a good teacher for you. Half the time I sound like I can't properly duel, but I'm actually a lot. But I would say I'm a bit better than I sound when I sound or act when it comes to dueling. When I'm dueling, I duel more seriously. I duel like it's life or death situation, as you should nowadays. And I'm gonna say it, that is dueling nowadays. In the past, when these kind of decks were a thing, before speed duels, before links, before pendulums, dueling was for fun. You could have fun when it came to dueling. Nobody took dueling properly serious. But nowadays, duelists take it properly serious, because in tournaments you have to. Many of us duel because we know it's a game. We do it to have fun. For a lot of pros out there in the world, for the world championships, regional championships, it's a war. It's practically a war to survive. It's survival of the fittest out there. Because you want to prove you're the strongest duelist out there, and you're willing to do whatever it takes. The next duel profile I'm going to do, though, will be a new yugioh deck I've been working on. It is the same as my old one, but solely working on fusioning and power and better modifications. Now, warning, I do have 3 fake cards in it. I'm saying it now just so you know, and I'm going to say it in the deck profile as well. It's the yugioh fusion. The reason I got those ones there, but I got them off eBay because they were decent. They were actually £5 or £6, and they were 3 of them together. Even though I can't use them in an official duel, I do have friends my friends and I, as long as we know the card's effects and we know what they do, because we even look them up just to be safe, we know we can use them. It is better to use real ones, but the fake yugioh fusions I'm using are just for the deck profile, and you'll see why I got the fake ones instead of a real one properly, and I'll explain why on my next video. So comment down below what you think of speed duels. Your ideas, honestly, what would your ideas be again on a female main character? Because I like a My Valentine's design with maybe a Yusei Fudo kind of character profile. Sad trauma past. Can make a cool deck out of everything. And she should be allowed to lose 2 or 3 times for certain reasons. That should only be the reason if she loses. But I think she should have a development like your character should. She can be all an incredible duelist, but she learns to actually get more emotional with things, to see the world, make friends and everything. Because I think that should be one of the first few episodes, her the female character making friends. So comment down what you think on that, what you think of the speed duel format. I think it's alright for duelists to practice, for some duelists. If you like duel links, then you can do it. But until then, comment down below on what you think. Until then, this is Sergeant Phoenix, over and out.